Hello, everybody. It's Thursday, May 4th. And what I wanted to come on today and talk about is building the airplane on the way down, which, if you are not familiar with this, is something that entrepreneurs sometimes joke about because I was in a pretty steady career for 20 plus years. And then a year and a half ago, I decided to go fully independent, not work through vendors as much, to get clients, but take clients directly and do it all myself and bring on a team. So that's jumping off the cliff and building the airplane on the way down. And that's what entrepreneurs do. And why on earth would anybody do that? Well, the reason why is that a lot of times you'll talk to an entrepreneur and you'll hear them say that they were kind of called to it. And in my case, it became really, really obvious that I was not doing what I really needed to be doing. So a year and a half ago, I was in a job. I was production manager for an international team. I had really great people I was working with. Um, had steady work, but because of a couple of things, which I will explain, I ended up looking at a breakdown of what your zones are: zone of genius, zone of excellence, zone of competence, zone of incompetence. And you just basically take a piece of paper, draw a plus sign, and then you fill out those about your prospects for what you do for work, what your gifts are, what your talents are. So in my zone of incompetence is all the stuff that my operations manager does for me because nobody wants me to be doing that. She's great at it. I suck at it. That's why she's there. The zone of competence is the stuff that, I could do it, but so could anybody. It's not that big a deal. It's sort of the, warm body effect. The zone of excellence is the stuff you're specially trained in. So in my case, that was public speaking, at that point, management, um, instructional design, learning and development, that kind of stuff, technical training. Those are my zones of excellence. And my zone of genius, what ended up in there was teaching and public speaking. And I looked at that and went, I stopped doing both of those because I had moved away from them slowly and started even telling a friend of mine who was a coworker that, "Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna teach anymore. It's not really my thing." And she quietly to herself was like, "Who's this?" Because that was not me. I was hiding. So when I saw that, my ability to hide disappeared. So if you're hiding, you may need to trigger that with talking to people or doing an exercise like this and kind of come out of whatever shell you might be in, because I had decided 6 years earlier that I would work on taking my part-time public speaking gig and make it full-time, and I would become a speaker. And I could not pull the plug on it. I just could not, go forward or pill the pin, I think is the better term, you know, with the grenade. It's like go all the way in on it. I couldn't do it. I kept choking. And because of that, I choked so much that I went into this cave and was like, "Well, I have to have a job that I need to be an employee and I need to belong to a place and it'll be my it'll be my family and that'll be where I do things and I stay there and that's great." And those of you who are employees are laughing at me going, "Yeah, there's no stability there," but I was convincing myself that there was. And so I kept trying to get employment from this place that kept promoting me and kept giving, plenty of hours, but I was a contractor and they wouldn't move me over to employee. And thank God, because 4.5 years on, I I wasn't basically I was in my cave, but I wasn't given the thing that allowed me to permanently hide in my mind. And I realized I needed to jump. So depending on your journey right now, you might need to kind of look at what you're doing. If you're not happy and there's a possibility because resources are tight, maybe you're not in your zone of genius. Maybe you're not in what naturally lights you up, what naturally just brings you joy. I realized pretty quickly that one of the things that was eating at me, and I was not, I kept ignoring, was the fact that I learned how to do public speaking and technical training the way most of us have learned it, which is on the road, doing it, messing up, doing better, thinking I'm going to die, going home and occasionally crying and having it just be you go through. As a technical trainer, showing up and having the software not installed or not be there or have the computers don't work or somebody decides to go ahead and mess with the software while you're teaching and they break the computer. All these things have happened to me, and in the moment, it was horrifying. So, anybody who has this kind of experience, this depth of experience, doesn't want newer people to have to go through what we did. And that's why I shifted my career is because I don't want presenters and speakers to have to go through what I did, what everyone I know did, because the world is changing. Speakers and, presenters, there's less time for you to get your feet under you than there used to be. There's less flexibility, and there was never really any teaching. There was never really great coaching. I mean, some places did it, but most didn't. And now it's, "Oh, well, just, figure it out. There's YouTube." And that's not it. So, one of the reasons why that you will see entrepreneurs kind of be going full in is because if it's something that we've lived and we struggled to get through it and we got through it, but each time it was like, oh God, you don't want someone else to have that. You want to help them get past it. So what is it that is that for you? What lights you up? What makes you go, "Oh, I don't want other people to have to do this. I learned this hard lesson, and God, I could just show them X." What is that? Is that part of your work? Is that something you could make part of your work? Do you need to think about shifting to maybe doing something else part-time and kind of growing that part? What is it that lights you up? What is it that makes you feel like, as a full person, you're giving of yourself? Just think about that. Think about the entrepreneurial journey, the fact that it is building the airplane on the way down. There's no two ways around it. And it's terrifying, but it's also deeply fulfilling. So if you're struggling, consider that. That is today's message. And I will talk to everybody later.